Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to Scaling Lean's Weekly Live, where every week we go live with wins and tidbits and things that we've learned in the online industry. You have Jonathan Polanski and Nina Brennan here, co-founders of Scaling Lean. And we're really just to bring some transparency to the online space about what's working, what's not working, what we're testing currently in the market, and why we're testing it. Today, we have a really good topic for you. We're going to be talking about landing pages and conversion rates, what they should look like, and how to increase them. So with that being said, JP, I think we could dive right in.
Absolutely. Welcome to the live. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Let us know if you're catching the replay. We did just drop a guide last week for how to create your ultimate lead magnet. So if you haven't got that yet, drop a leads below. We'll send that over for you. And then this live training is really leading into how to get those leads to your guide while collecting their information. We're going to go over how to optimize your page, how to optimize your headlines, your subheadlines, your bullet points, things to look out for, things not to do, and a lot of things we learned after generating over $7 million over the past 3 years and over 200 businesses. So stay tuned. Let us know if you have any questions along the way here. We're super excited to bring this information to you because we've seen increases of upwards of 20% on some of our clients' landing pages after implementing these frameworks. So we want to bring this to you all as a value training so you can implement this and get more leads, because 20% on every 100 leads is 20 more leads that you're getting inside of your business that you can reach out to, get more feedback from, and so on. So yeah, with that being said, Nia, up in first to probably say overall design, right? Like, what are the components of a good landing page that we found over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. So let's just back it up a little bit. Landing pages could be used with any kind of form or any kind of submission. You could do it with organic or you could do it with paid traffic. Doesn't matter where you're driving leads from, but you want to get ultimately any person that you're getting from your outer sphere into your ecosystem, and this is how you're going to do it. So the structuring of a lead magnet that we've seen work is keeping it very simple. The simpler the landing page, the higher the conversions from what I've seen on my end, JP, and I want you to chime in there too when I'm finished with this. But it's really just like a very strong headline, a very strong forward-facing subheadline or H2, which is just like the headline is exactly what they're getting, and the subheadline is exactly what they should expect if they are to opt in for it. And then it's a form to just give email, name, and phone number, and then a submission button. But I know we have a little bit more that we want to talk about today, so take it away.
Yeah, I love that. Less is usually better. We've taken pages that had more information on the bottom and we've literally removed that information. We've seen increases. So love what you said there, Nina, to kick this off. White space is really important. The more white space and simplicity that you bring into your lead magnet. We've even had success, and I'll show you a few examples on this live in just a moment, with just a simple headline, subheadline. That's it. And then just bring them right in. We're getting 30 to 50% opt-in rates with just a simple opt-in page like that. Keep it simple. But yeah, let's hop into first. The Wednesday revenue recharge newsletter, and I just want to pull up an example from that newsletter, Nina, that we actually gave you a tangible example of what was before versus what it is now. So this is from one of our clients, Brian. He works in the relationship niche. Amazing guy. He helps women middle age or kind of the 50 range overcome their traumas in relationships, right? So originally when Brian came to us, he had a Love Reimagined lead magnet and he was having good results with it. He was getting about 20% opt-in rate, but we knew we could do better, right? And he wasn't doing any split testing. So we figured, hey, like, why don't we create a new format, the one that we have that's proven, and see what we can do against the one that's already in place. And as I mentioned before, we saw a 20% increase with Brian's particular landing page. And we actually did have a client yesterday on a response from this newsletter asking about, like, great, but how do we know that the lead quality was better? And stick around to the end, and we're going to break down that whole process too, of what to look for that process too, because totally resonate with that. If you're getting a 40% opt-in rate, but your leads are worse, that might not be the way to go, right? So we're going to hop into that information here at the end too, so stick around. This is the exact headline and subheadline that Brian had prior to the adjustment that we had made. So as you can see here, his headline said, "Attention, are you struggling to break through the cycle of unfulfilled relationships?" Not a horrible headline, but what we found was, by making it shorter and more concise, discover the 3 powerful steps to attract real love. It was just more direct and concise, and that was really got the action, because headline and subheadline is 80% of your conversion rate. As you can see, the subheadline here was a lot more longer as well, where we went to the 2-liner, which was "Stop waiting for fate, take control of your life with our proven method of finding the perfect for you partner," where compared to "Are you tired and compromising your standards and feeling undervalued? Enter your details below and I'll send over my secrets." So this was just a little bit overwhelming, a lot more information, where we went with a more direct response, shorter, more concise message that's really what got the action. And we saw roughly a 15 to 20% lift just from the headline and subheadline. Do you have anything to put on top there for headline, subheadline?
Yeah, so I want to just keep it very clear of like, we are creating a sub headline or a headline, or even just like the little fold that goes above the headline. It's you want to call out exactly who you want to attract into this pipeline, and that's how you can mitigate those like what you had before of like, are they better lead quality or are they not? It's like you want to be hyper specific of like who want to actually download this lead magnet, and you could do that simply on the landing page, whether it is through the sub headline, the headline, or the little like content creators looking to XYZ or whatever it is that you're looking to draw in. That's all I have there.
Yeah, and we always utilize HemingwayApp.com, and this should definitely, we always say this inside of all of our content, we should definitely be under a fifth or at minimum a fifth grade reading level, right? So simplicity is always what wins. So make sure you're using HemingwayApp.com, plugging it in there and making sure that your reading level stays below a fifth grade reading level. So just kind of loop back real quick. I want to showcase the actual format of the page, Nina, progressing on, because I believe that would give a little more context to some of the things that we're talking about. So this is Brian's actual landing page, right? And this is the one that's converting at between 40 and 47%, depending on the week, depending on the day. And this is with cold and warm traffic. So as you can see here, as Nina mentioned, very simple layout. In this case, we did use a darker background, and we have split tested different background colors, different button colors. But format change of what we did, Brian didn't have any bullet points here that explained. And we're going to get into this in a little bit here, but he didn't have any bullet points to really outline what was in the guide. So this made it more clear and concise of what that person's getting when they do opt in as well. The call out at the top here for women who finally want to find their soulmate, right? Calling out that exact avatar. So they're like, yes, that is me. So they're more inclined to give you their information, right? On the overall layout, I don't want to bog the thing down with screen share the whole time. I just wanted to kind of go overall format so it gives a little context.
Yeah, the most important thing that you have to remember is whether you are on mobile app or you are on the display for computer, both times you have to have the button above the fold. So you don't want people to question what to do next. There should be one call to action on the page, as you can see here, is yes, send me the secrets. And if you are on the mobile version, make sure that if you do have the bullet points listed, put two buttons. Perfect, you're pulling it up. You can see here that JP sharing is the button is above the fold, which means if somebody lands on this page on their phone, you get to see a button right away to go to the next step or to opt in.
Love that you brought that in. It's super important because Brian's page was not optimized for mobile. And generally 60 to 70% of traffic that hits these pages, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, generally over 65% that we've seen is mobile use, right? So we definitely want to have this optimized for mobile use. So I love that you brought that in. That is one of our bullet points. That is super awesome that we got to take a look at that before we're stopping the screen share.
On JP, I just want to bring up one that's doing fully cold traffic for one of our clients. And I just want to show the similarity between Brian's page and Matt's page, just because it's going to show like this 49% since we launched paid advertising, and you'll see how very similar the structure is.
Love it. Well, you pulled that up. Okay, you got it pulled up. Awesome.
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just going to continue on if you didn't have it pulled up.
I was just going to say, like, I pulled up Brian's page. I was just like, okay, like, working, it's a 47%. This is also at like in 40s at 49% right now. It's same thing. We're calling out the people here. We're exactly what are you getting here? It's profit and loss template, excuse me. And then underneath the sub headline is exactly what they're going to get from this template if they download it. This is above the fold, both on screen, both on desktop and on mobile. And then as you see, there's 3 bullet points here that they're going into. We the screenshot on Brian's page of the book. This is the template screenshot here. And then the secondary button. We don't have to go too more into depth, but it just goes to show the very similar templates like this, what's converting right now.
Absolutely love it, Nina. And then what we could do actually too, is we could show them the actual simplest form that we have, which is the newsletter. Let me just pull that up right now and I'll show another format that we utilize. You can see here, we've split tested these 2 pages inside of conversionpro.io. So if you're looking for software to orchestrate your opt-in pages, definitely drop a conversion below. And we can hook you up with a 30-day trial of Conversion Pro. This is the only software that we use. All of our clients use it. It loads quickly. It's easy to use, intuitive. It allows us to do all of our email marketing, our text marketing, pretty much everything. As you can see here, we have a 25% increase or 23 plus. And this is just one word that we changed in order to achieve this. So if we go into this page, let me just launch this. This one here is leaving money in your email list, extract 20% more revenue from leads you already own. The most simple landing page that you could possibly make, right? And the only word we changed in this landing page, I won't show you the other version. The other word is add instead of extract. And it literally raised the opt-in rate by over 23%. So it just goes to show we're now capturing on 100 leads, we're now capturing 23 more leads by changing one word. So that's significant. And you definitely want to be split testing your landing pages, develop your system, because you're potentially missing out on opportunity, right? So not to get bogged down in examples, we gave 3 tangible examples of 3 different formats. So definitely take this, run with it, and you can certainly plug these in. If you do use Conversion Pro Dialer, like I mentioned, these are all templated in there. So you'll get them right away as soon as you take advantage of that 30-day trial.
Absolutely. So we're going to dive into the 10 elements to turn first impressions into lasting relationships, JP. That's what today's plan is, correct?
Absolutely. So we basically already covered number 1, which is hook-driven templates, or hook-driven headlines rather. So I don't really feel we need to really go back there. Number 2 is story-driven subheadlines. We touched on that a bit, but it is important that we interject a bit of the story to help move that person through the process and connect more intimately with the emotional state or the state of the character or the state of the brand, in order to get them to keep moving through the process, right? Anything that you believe we should go deeper on there, Nina, before moving on with subheadlines or headlines?
No, I think it's pretty clear. If you guys have any questions about it, all you have to do is go back in this video and see exactly how we structure them.
Love it. So number 3 that we have on the list, once you have your headline and subheadline done, what's really important, we kind of done this, is scannability, right? We don't want to have large blocks of text. We want to have a lot of white space, short, concise sentences that are under a 5th grade reading level. We want to have bullet points, as we showed in the first example. As you saw in Nina's example, it was also very spread out, really easy to read, easy to scan. There's different colors within the elements, so it kind of got moving down the page. And in the third one, it's just really not a lot, right? So there's really just super plain Jane, a lot of white space, room to breathe, if you will, to kind of information and keep moving. Really else that I have there, Nina. So if you don't have anything, we could go on to number 4.
Yeah, let's just go on to number 4 with strategic form placement. And then I think that goes hand in hand with number 5, which is compelling call to action, excuse me. So if you really think about a landing page, the whole landing page itself is telling a story and it should flow. So the headline should go to the subheadline should go to the button or to the copy that's next, which is like the bullet points that we were just talking about. So when it comes to like the strategic form placement and the call to action that's inside of the form placement, which is like, button, inside of it, there's your copy that is the call to action. It should make sense with the placement on the page. So if your subheadline is not leading into like something like download now, it's like you have to tweak your subheadline. So again, just to remind you, mobile, it should be above the fold. And if you are on like a regular page, which is a desktop, it should be one at the below the fold and one at the bottom of the page. And it should all flow into that call to action. If there's anything that's choppy, make sure that you have a bridge between bullet points and call to action.
Absolutely love that. The only thing I have to put on top of that, Nina, is most of the time I would say, like, the time our landing pages have pop-ups on them. The reason why we like using pop-ups is because when the person goes to exit the page, we're able to add an automation inside of it, so it opens up to just remind them and try to get them to opt in before leaving, right? But as you saw in the third example there, that form was just right on the page, right? So we do use that method as well, but I would say most of the time we do use the pop-up feature.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about trust building visuals. As you saw, 2 out of the 3 pages that we shared had visuals on them. And what's the reason for that, JP?
Yeah, we want to build like trust. It's the key to success. So use different formats here as far as like a picture with people on stages or people with their art, or I mean, Nina, with you and I, we've just done like this performing ad creative of you and I sitting in the car, or with the lead magnet, we have you and I holding the lead magnet, right? So yeah, it's important to build that like trust by showcasing who you are, building your brand. People feel more comfortable with seeing pictures.
Yeah, and I think the most important thing here is like a picture acts as like an eyesore on the page. So they're going to go wherever the picture is. And if it's a very clear picture of exactly what they're getting, they're more likely to download. Or if it's like a very compelling photo, their eye's going to go there and they're like, oh, I need this product, service, or whatever it is that you're putting out there.
Absolutely love it. So moving right along here, number 7 that we have that's really important. This is by far the most important one of all. And we're going to go pretty deep in this process here. We'll sit here for a few minutes, Nina, and really talk about the strategy that we employ to really get to that winning combination, right? Number 7 is split testing everything, right? So we're going to go over how to split test, when to split test, and really the key features of what to do. So the things you want to be split testing, the most important thing is your headline and subline. 80% of your conversions will come from just those 2 lines, right? So it's very important that you are continuously iterating those and trying to beat the winner with those. You want to test different button colors with your call to actions. Usually green, blue, or red are the top 3. So I would start there. You're probably only going to see a couple percent of lift with just that. You're going to want to test your overall layout. So you could do picture on left, picture on right. You could test the form on the page like we showed you, the couple different variants we showed you. Early on, you could just do like format versus another format to start off. Different image combinations. So as I mentioned there, if we have 3 different ads and we've determined one creative to be that winner, then we're going to double down on that one and match the ad with the landing page will be the same image. So it's just congruent through that process. And then your bullet point combinations, again, these are all those last ones I mentioned below the headline. You're only going to get probably like 1, 2, maybe 5% out of each of those. So those are really like your honing mechanisms, if you will, once you have the overall page over 20 to 30%, right? And then you can really experiment with getting it up and above that. What I really wanted to cover here is like how do you get to that winning combination? Because we had a woman yesterday email back from the newsletter and was like, I know that 45% is going to outperform 20% at the bottom of the funnel, right? So let's dive into that for a few minutes here and really break down that methodology.
Yeah, well, before we do that, I definitely want to bring up the idea between emotionally liking something versus logically liking something. So numbers is going to be what's telling the story behind your landing page, right? I don't want people to get too emotionally attached to what it looks like because a lot of times I was having a conversation on Tuesday with a client of ours and I showed him what we're currently working on and what the split test was for what we were working on. And he said, it looks janky, so I know it's going to work. Because I know it's like a weird question, but like he like video link, he likes everything on brand. But what I showed him was like, but that's what's converting right now at 49%. So I want to really just hone in on the idea of like, it doesn't matter about like if you like it or not, it's what the market is resonating with and let the numbers tell the story. Don't let that affect like we're doing from the day to day.
Absolutely love that.
All right. So let's carry on.
Yeah, so let's hop into really defining how you know that you've landed that winning combination, not only by the percentage of how high you're getting leads through, but also the percentage of what is converting on the back end, right? So again, we use conversionpro.io to help us optimize for that process because what we do in every funnel that we create is we use UTM codes. And what that does for us is it allows us to put a special code on each funnel that we create and allows us to track that person all the way through the buyer's journey to see what spits out on the other end, right? So if we do a split test, generally we do every split test for 100 leads, right? We don't base anything off of less unless we see a huge discrepancy. Like if we launch a test in that 25, we have 2% and we got 50% or even 25% and 5%, then obviously we're going to turn off the one that's 5%. But if have a control that's 20%, and then we're testing against it and we get a 40%, we're going to let that run for 100 because we're going to want to see, okay, of those 100 leads, what is coming out on the other end? Are we getting scheduled calls? Are we getting closed deals, right? And then that's where we're going to make our final decision for that new control, right? So this goes for not only landing pages, it goes for VSLs, it goes for VSL pages, it goes for ads, it goes for everything that you do inside of your business. And this is a huge mistake that a lot of people make, right? They go in the ad manager, they put $20 down on black, they run 3 ads, and they're just turning off the ads based on the lead cost. And how many times have we seen inside of our ads manager, inside of our client accounts, where the ads that are spending 15 to 20 bucks are actually producing the closed deals, and the ads that are producing the $5 to $10 leads are actually not the ones that are closing the deals, right? We've seen it so many times. So this is why it's so important to have a tracking system inside of your business so you can make data-driven decisions. And this is for organic or paid, rather than decisions based on emotion. So that's why we use conversionpro.io. We have a whole master tracking dashboard and system behind this so we know exactly what's going on at the bottom of the funnel so we can make decisions the right way and adjust the winners, not the losers.
Yeah, I think the most important thing to bring up here in layman terms, JP, is a lead magnet is really just the beginning of a story inside of the conversion system. So you want to be able to segment your list by pulling people into the lead magnet and growing your list. But then as people are navigating through the system, you're going to be able to see the quality of leads of like, okay, lead magnet, it doesn't end there, whereas like they view your email and then they're done. And then maybe they enter your master tracking sheet. Like at lead magnet, it should be, okay, what's the next step? Is it to buy a product or service? Is it to schedule a call? Is it to fill out an application? Is it to do a quiz? And you'll see the quality of the lead, not because they just come in and like the lead magnet worked or didn't work. It's what's happening after they come into the lead magnet. And I think that's the most important thing is people, a lot of times they'll build a lead magnet, but they don't have an ascendment process or a nurture process after to get to the end goal. And I think that's something that we really should focus on. Maybe not in this video, but down the road, we'll definitely bring that up.
Yeah, a series that we'll be working on in the coming weeks here is really dialing in your opt-in sequence to really send those people to those calls if they don't convert immediately. Because as we know, Nina, less than 5% of leads actually do convert after that first touch point. So we focus here on that 45% of leads that don't convert right away, that will convert within the next 90 days of coming into your ecosystem. That's really what we're built on here. Love that. One last thing about split testing before we move on. I'll have swipe files. That's what we're built on here at Scaling Lean. Have ideas. Don't copy people. Just have different ideas, have different layouts. Look in the funnels of people that are doing $1 million, $2 million, $10 million a year. Those are the ones that are converting, even if they're not in your niche, right? You can use different niches, fitness if you're in make money, or make money if you're in fitness or wellness or whatever you're in. Don't be afraid to cross split test and swipe files from different niches, because that's really going to help you have success quicker. We have all the stuff inside of our business that our people can use without having to go anywhere. We have all of the stuff there. So with that being said, let's number 8. We don't really utilize these too much just because we found that graphics and written copy seem to be fine for conversion. But we have executed this a few times. Just putting a short video on your landing page that outlines a little bit about what you do. And this shouldn't be anything that's glamorous. And the ones we found that work the best is just like doing a screen share with a Google Doc, or you doing a screen share with, or just like you doing a short form video on your phone, which is kind of point and shoot, not like super glamorous. Again, people want that authenticity, and they're looking for that human connection in order to take that next step. Right on. Number 9. Why don't you tell them the story about the speed test that we did, Nina? Do you want to hop into that?
I don't know which one.
With ClickFunnels?
Oh, geez. Okay. So speed matters. And it says here every second delay equals 7% fewer conversion. And there's a reason that we moved over from the very famous platform ClickFunnels, even when they were coming out with ClickFunnels 2.0, over to now ConversionPro.io. Speed matters. And we did our speed test on ClickFunnels. I think it was like a 21-second like load time. We had everything. We had our website, we had our funnels, we had our testimonials, we had everything inside of ClickFunnels. And we decided to migrate over to Conversion Pro because every single landing page downloads within 2 seconds. Our whole goal is to optimize for under 1 second. So speed matters. We got it down to 1 second. Sales jumped by 21%, and here we are today. So ConversionPro.io is definitely the platform that we recommend and that we use with all of our clients.
Yeah, that was the eye opener for us. We were running paid traffic at the time, and we're like, why is our conversion rate so low? And then we found out that it took 25 seconds for our page to load. And we're like, man, we got to make an adjustment, right, Nina? We're like, that's way too long. People are never even seeing our offer. So that was experience with it. I know a lot of people like live and breathe by ClickFunnels, but we did this, and that's what we found on our end. Right on. So last thing that we kind of touched on already, Nina. Number 10 is really just optimizing for mobile, right? So many people don't do that, but it's so important because so many people are on their phone, right? It's really that simple. We don't really have to deep dive into that, but just make sure you're optimizing your page for mobile. Because if you don't, you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. It may make bad. It may not present the right way that you want it to. So definitely have a look at your mobile view. So I think overall, the big we see that people make mistakes with is they focus much on making it look good. You kind of touched on a little bit, Nina, rather than the actual psychology behind the landing page, the elements of what's going to make a landing page successful, the writing that's going onto the landing page, the pictures that are going onto the landing page, the overall format. They focus in on making their logo look good and their colors look good instead of making the page psychologically make sense for a person to go landing on it to converting into a lead. Do you have any shortcomings on your end, Nina, that you've seen?
I think the most important thing that I see in terms of like creating the landing page is if so many people start with A/B split testing. I hear it all the time. I have a lot of conversations in the DMs on LinkedIn and Facebook. Everyone talks about A/B split testing. A/B. They don't really understand what it takes to do that. It'll become 2 separate pages that they create, and they're trying to like make it against one another without having 1, enough lead flow, and 2, it's like, what are you testing against? Like, what do you know is going to be the winner? Is it the headline, the subheadline? So focus only on one element if you are to quote unquote A/B split test, rather than trying to recreate the whole thing based on, the page that you're creating, like you're touching off.
Absolutely. Totally makes sense. And I love that. So before we wrap this one up, if you got value, let us know. Drop a landing page below. We will be dropping a guide suit on this. So we're looking for feedback now just to help iterate that process and make it even better. But this is definitely a good starting point, I think. So this is a simple system or psychology behind what we do here at Scaling Lean in order to make this whole process work. So say we're starting at ground zero with nothing. Ultimately, what we're going to do is we're going to pick 2 formats, and then we're going to pick one element to test at a time. We're going to do a rough draft. We're going to put that split test up for 100 clicks, unless again, unless you see immediately within 30 clicks that one is 40% different, then you're going to turn that one off, and then that's the winner. And then you iterate from there with the 100 clicks method. You're going to adjust one element at a time. We're moving to the next element. Think of it like a race car. You don't adjust all the tire pressures at the same time to see what it does. You adjust one tire pressure, you see what it does after racing 50 laps, and then you go back into the pits, and then you make another adjustment, right? Think of it like that. We're not making multiple adjustments in the entire funnel process, right? We want to make little fine-tuning tweaks in order to see what the result creates at the bottom of the funnel. And then obviously we want to take screenshots of the losers so we don't reproduce what we did before, right? Because that's kind of silly if you redo the same thing over again. It's the definition of insanity. And then obviously we want to really just double down on what's working and then monitor the bottom of funnel metrics as we go. So that's really, we're increasing conversion rates upwards of 20% online. What we've learned over the past 3 years after earning $7 million in online space in pretty much every single niche, Nina, we just want to bring that to you all today. And again, conversionpro.io, free 30-day trial, comes with one-on-one onboarding. Do you want to take advantage of the split testing feature in there and landing page designs that we have laid out for you? Definitely drop it below. And yeah, Nina, again, if you didn't get the ultimate lead magnet guide, which kind of is what you get this to go to, right? Landing page to lead magnet, drop lead magnet below. We'll send that over as well. Do you have anything else, Nina, on your end?
Yeah, just to sum up the entire video, because this was a pretty long one. Keep it simple, a really strong copy. Copy should flow one into another for each of the bullet points that we did here, from headline to subheadline to bullet points to call to action to form. Mobile optimize everything. That's where most of the traffic is coming from. And split test very simply, not very complex. I think that's like an overarching thing of everything we spoke about today. That's how you can really bomb lead magnet. And if you want our process of how we do it, as you said before, drop lead magnet below. I already see 2 people dropped it, and then we'll send it over to you.
Right on, everyone. We'll catch you next week, 11 a.m. MST on Thursday, and let's keep crushing 2025. Chat soon.
Bye, everyone.